So you better listen up.
Do we have to take notes?
Just welcome to the classes of 67 and 69. It's good that most of you made a big commitment to get here. And I'm going to ask, we're going to kind of have a little class war here to see which one's the best. I have an observation I made already. When I was out taking pictures, I noticed the class of 69 had about 10 people taking pictures, and the class of 67 only had 3. I don't know what that means, but that's the way it went. So, I'm going to ask, and the class of, both of you the same question. In the class of which one of you came the furthest? For each class, can we figure out who came the furthest? Who?
I was in 60.
And you came from?
Owasso, Oklahoma.
Anybody come from further from the class of 69? No, 7. What about the other class? Who came the furthest there?
Pat. Minneapolis.
I'm missing out on it. Who?
Minneapolis.
Pat Dupont.
Oh, okay. So, who wins?
Show up.
Who wins the draw?
But I'm pumped.
Okay, one for that class. Now, today it's been a fun time for you guys. You've sat around, I heard the talking, no one was bashful, and it's a time to share and a time to create old memories and a time to create new ones. And I'm sure that's what you did today. 55 years ago, I walked into the halls of the old Glen High School, and I was ready to start teaching. The first day, I wanted to be a success. You were the first school, Glen was the first place I ever taught. I was 21 years old, and some of the seniors are 18. I don't know if there were any 19-year-olds, but I didn't have much age advantage on you guys, but anyway. And I like I said, I wanted to make sure that I was going to be accepted. We have to be accepted just like anything else. And I embrace the motto that we should, treat others the way you want to be treated. And that, I think, goes all the way through life, as you can embrace that motto. And I think the classes or the students that were in my classes accepted that. And from then on, things were going pretty good. And so I appreciate that what we accomplished was we had a classroom of learning, a classroom of having some fun once in a while, and a classroom where we could, sometimes we talked about the problems of the day. Maybe something didn't go right in the classroom, and it's hard to teach, if you've got a little first grader and has to go to the bathroom, and the teacher says, you can't go, we were just in the bathroom. Well, how much do you think that little first grader is going to learn? Not much, because he's got to wiggling around in his chair. Well, you guys were much the same. You were in high school, and you had a burning desire to not accept maybe one of the rules or something that didn't go right, and so we'd take 10 minutes to discuss it, and we'd move on, and everything was cool. So I appreciated that cooperation and so on. As we remember and look back upon our high school days, we have the memories that we've created. And so I'm going to take you down memory lane and give you a little taste of what some of your classes were and those kind of things. Well, I taught chemistry, physics, and 9th grade science, of course. And I started with myself here. The 9th grade science was always a fun group and the class of 67 was one that had more students than anybody. I know you got bragging rights on that. You had 67 students, I think. But as a result, I had to teach 3 different classes, but I made it. But I know one of the things that everybody liked as a freshman was the fact that we would let you stretch and bend glass, which I was pretty risky in doing that, but I also told them that if you're not careful, you'll find out. And we had very few burns, very few complaints from anybody. And I remember a little piece of glass like that on the Bunsen burner got pretty hot, but nobody complained and everybody enjoyed the stretching the glass, seeing the little hole in the tube and stuff like that. So that was kind of fun. Excuse me. And of course, my chemistry class, I had all good students, and and of course, I had no bad students at Glen. And therefore, but it was fun because everybody was there. We had a spirit of learning, and we had fun. And most of the time, everybody was waiting for me to do a demonstration. And I was the biggest kid in the classroom because I was most fascinated by things that happened, when you form together. And every once in a while, one would flop. And that's how I kept their attention, because you kept watching. When is he going to fail? And then it didn't work. Somebody says in the back room, "Mr. Fryer, you forgot to add the water," or something like that. So those were fun times, and it was fun to have you and correct me, because I always corrected you. So you had your turn to correct me. So, and of course, physics was the same way, and that was a good time. We had basketball, boys basketball. Glen Allen's a basketball town, as you all know. Everybody goes to the games, everybody cheers, everybody's happy that there is a basketball game, and we used to run into the regionals, and we'd run into St. Mary's in New England, and we'd run into whoever, and sometimes we were happy and sometimes we were disappointed, but we were still proud of our team. So those of you that play basketball, that was one of the things that you, I'm sure, certainly are proud of. And then another topic here. Remember the days when there were blizzards? And all the farm kids got to go home? And the town kids wound up staying. And the teachers didn't like it either, because if I taught you something, then the next day they came back, and then I had to do it to them, and you were bored. If I didn't do anything, you were bored anyway. So it was a tough deal. But we finally got it changed so that, not in your day, I don't think any of your classes, but after that, the buses would go, and the town kids, the parents could pick them up 1 hour afterwards. We didn't need the bus congestion in the parking lot and getting stuck, and then not farm kids getting home. So, but that worked out okay. But I know all of you remember that because I saw the smiles and stuff. So, and then of course the music, the band, the chorus, and the class plays. Some of you were participated in that. And you can remember memories based on that, the fun you had in doing the plays and so on. So that's another event. And of course then, the last thing I'm going to mention, of course, is girls track. And that was my first love, I guess. And it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of girls out for track, and they exhibited behaviors of good team players. They were always good sportsmen, and they were always ready to compete. And they were all special. And we had, 40, 50 girls out for track, and every one of them stuck around so that they could help us out the next year when we lost somebody through graduation. So that was a good time. I have a little article from the Bismarck Tribune. 50 years ago today, 1967. So guess who? 1967. Glen Allen captured the girls' team title with 58 points, while Lucilla was second with 34. So domination, right? so that was special, and we did a lot of those things with the girls. But anyway, I suppose the class of '67 will take a little credit for that, huh? Okay, they're shaking ahead. Now. The class of '67, you were the first class to graduate from this school. The class of '66 must have been really rowdy, because they closed the school after they graduated. So I don't know. you also have another title that you claim, and that is you have the largest class to ever graduate from Glen Ullin. And that will stay that way because the classes are a little bit smaller now. And so, congratulations for having those two honors. Now, here's some questions. And if you answered wrong, you don't get credit.
67, 69.
I'll keep track.
Okay.
Does 67 get a credit for the farthest one coming yet?
No,
Or is this something different?
just let me tell you when they happen. Okay. And both of you are gonna answer the same question. What's the class flower for 67?
Carnation. Pink.
Pink and white, yep,
That was for which class?
67. How about
Let's see if the other
69?
ones, let's see if the 69 have.
Uh-oh.
Class flower.
What's the what?
For cheating.
Yes. Yes. And then,
Okay, so nobody gets a point
they're
or?
tied. Yeah, no, nothing. And then, what
Well, I
about?
gotta keep track, each one and one for each.
Yeah, yeah. Class colors. Boy, somebody's been looking at their annual. Okay, how about the class of 69? Yes, blue and white. You guys are all pretty smart. You must have had really good teachers. Okay. Last motto is gonna blow some of you away. Last motto, what was that?
Look it up, Glen.
Oh, I can't hear. I can't hear. What's the class motto? 69. You got an answer?
Josh, what was it? Come on, Josh, you remember everything.
How about 67?
The past forever, gone, the future all our own. I knew it was something.
That's a cheat.
I just looked at it for a second.
The past forever gone, the future all our own. Give him a point. How about the rest of 69?
Did 69 get it?
Something about knowledge and wisdom.
What we are to be, we are becoming.
Yes, correct. It's still tied. Okay, I got just two more questions. 3. Senior class play for each class.
They got the answer.
Kathy's cat.
On Katie's cat, yeah. And you were what?
I was Kathy.
We have the same one. Peripatetic.
No.
Ours was Finders Creepers.
Yes, Finders Keepers. Oh, boy.
Creepers, so they each get a point.
Yeah, each got one.
Well, it's all they have their answer.
Who were the valedictorians for your classes?
Artists.
Artist Weisenberger, 69. And
Tom Fazer. Tom Fazer.
Tom Fazer, right?
Okay, they each got.
Boy, you guys are doing good. Now, where did you go for skip day?
All the way to Bismarck.
Okay, that's correct. In Bismarck to Dr. Shivago.
We went to Dickinson.
Where?
Medora. We went to Medora and then we came back to Dickinson. Medora? I don't know.
We went to Medora and then we ate in Dickinson.
You're right. Hi, it isn't it? Why would I say
67, tell you where they went? Okay.
they were correct? Well, I guess it's a draw.
Bismarck to
You guys are all pretty smart, and you have a good memory yet. So, now I'll close in just a bit here. Just to give you a little background of what I've been doing. the last 50 years since I was here. And of course, Glen, 9 years here. When I left here, I had my master's, I got the chemistry and physics here, of course, and my master's in counseling. I was a licensed professional counselor. And so when I was here, Glen said, well, we're going to make you a counselor because we get credit from the Department of Public Instruction for having a counselor. So I started working with mental health out of Mandan, and we did some referrals, and somehow they thought I was okay, and they said, we have a job for you in Carson, Fletcher, and Elgin. And so then I moved down there and was a school counselor for those 3 schools. I lasted there 5 years, and I was promoted to Mandan to supervise the people like myself in the 10-county area, which included like Emmons County by Linton and over here at Grant, and then up pretty much to the border, close to the border. So, and I spent 7 years in that. So I worked 12 and a half years in the human services and the counseling area. Then I had a friend of mine that thought I was working pretty hard, and I had him fooled. And I went into the janitorial business for a while, and the management just was not responsive to the training needs that we needed to make the progress that we had to make. So I quit there, and I went to work for career and technical education, which is the vocational education. I spent 21 years there, and I worked with students with special needs and also disadvantaged students. And I was a supervisor throughout the state, and I was just fortunate enough to have one of Glen's woman, or whatever, as a person I supervised, and that was Jane Dupont, and she's at Beulah. So that was a fun time. We have 2 sons. Travis is an accountant at Rapid City, and Trent is an actuary at Midland Life Insurance in Fargo. And we have no grandkids. And that's a sad thing when you guys are all talking about your grandkids. So
You live in Bismarck?
I live in Bismarck, yes, yes. We've lived there since 1978. I moved from Elgin, we lived in Carson, but I did the 3 schools. We moved the day the tornado hit Elgin,
No, the week before.
The weekend before, like the 28th of June, and the tornado hit like the 2nd or something, and
Did
we.
you have a house down there at that time?
No, we had a mobile home right across the elevator in Carson.
Oh, so you were in Carson, but you.
Lived there, right. Yeah. I've been
We moved
retired.
that mobile home from Glen Ullin to Carson.
Yes, it was over on the
It
west
was used to
end.
be here in the trailer court. We had to drive by that.
Oh, I know where it was.
Mr. Berg and
Yeah.
Johnson and all those were out there.
Yeah.
So the last thing is I am enjoying retirement. I will say it's the best job I've ever had. We winter in Mesa, in Sunland Springs Village, at next to the flea market. So when we get company, it used to be we want to go to a flea market, so you take them, and all of a
It's a
sudden.
Mesa Marketplace. It's not really a flea market.
Yes, it's
new stuff.
brand new stuff. It's like 4 rows of like a football
Tents.
field long. So
Tents.
there's 12 football fields, the length,
Tents.
and then across the ends.
They're covered tents.
Yeah, covered tents, and it's a day's work. But when I said flea market, it's all new material. It's all new. You can buy just about anything you want.
Reasonable price? Prices are pretty reasonable.
No, it's a Mesa Marketplace, and you can buy anything from golf clubs down to silicone pot
Golf
holders
carts and
golf carts, yeah, anything. Yeah, but it's new
prices,
stuff. Some prices are good. A lot of artwork from the Mexican. They bring it up from Mexico now. Beautifully done, ornaments and metalwork and things too.
Okay, and that's about all I have. If anybody has any questions or comments, go for it.